Thank you for joining us for this Showers Online tutorial. What we're going to discover today is how to use the Showers Online program from sort of a basic level. There are many layers and many details to this program, so we won't be able to go over all the different aspects of it in one go here, but there will be other tutorials to follow the one you're viewing now, but this is a great one to start out with. So what we're looking at here is called the project list screen. And the project list are all the list of the different projects that you've created in the past. Now, when you open this screen the first time, it's going to appear blank because you have not created any projects. So this is what the screen will look like when you first see it, completely blank and devoid of any given structures. What I want to show you here today is what the ins and outs and the nuts and bolts of this program and how to use it. In the top left corner we have the project name. This is a filtering system. In fact, all along the top of the screen are a number of filters that help you to find past projects. The project name, if I were to type in the letter SM, it would show up any given structure that has those first two characters in the project name. And as you can see, Smith came up twice here because this is a test database, and we've put in Smith a couple of times just for this reason here. There are other filters, and you can go by the customer reference or the customer's name, any number of ways to locate a job that you've created in the past. On the bottom half of this screen, you'll see different details that can be filled in by the user of the program. You can put project names, you can put the customer name, location of the shower structure, all kinds of private notes if you choose to write them about a given shower, and a lot of quote information can be filled in. When you get to the end here, you can fill in quote, dollar amount, notes that would appear on the quote, all kinds of detailed information that you can that you can send over to the customer. And working our way over to the right here, we also have order details, where the order will go, what the order's history is. And in the bottom right hand corner, you'll see the most important part of this screen, and that is the where we get started on a new shower and where we can view details of showers that have been created in the past. So because we haven't done a new shower yet, we're going to go ahead and start there. I'll go to the bottom right corner, press New Shower. You can see all of the details for the customer information all now went blank. We'll give it a project name of Test, and we will go about the business of either saving something here, that's an active button, we haven't made any changes to save yet, or we can cancel, or the only other active button is Design Shower. Design Shower is going to bring us to the place where we can fill in the dimensions and really get going on this shower structure we have here. So I'll click on Design Shower, and that brings up a new page, which is the template page. Now, there are three basic types of structures in the Showers Online program. There are inline showers, there are right angle or 90-degree showers, and there are neo-angle or 135-degree showers. Custom is also available here, but as you can see, it says design a shower from scratch. As a new user, you are not ready to design a shower from scratch. So we're going to choose something rather simple to start off with here, and that's going to be something inline. So I'll go to the inline section, I'll go ahead and click that, and as you can see, it brings up a whole list of standard templates for inline shower structures. Starting in the top of the screen here, we're going to take a look at some of the options available to us. For the type that we selected inline, the radio button's clicked there. For the doors, we've got single doors. We could make the structures double doors. We could make them bifolding doors, or single sliding doors, which are so popular these days, such as the Serenity, the Crescent, that kind of thing, or double sliding doors like our Cambridge or our DKCK series. So for the sake of simplicity, we'll leave this as a single door, and all of the doors are shown as a hinge left, as you can see on all of these templates. If I were to click the radio button on the right here, now all of the structures have become a hinge right shower door. So we'll go ahead and leave it that way. And You're going to find that there are a lot of shortcuts in this program. I'll show you the first one now. I can either highlight a shower and go all the way down to the bottom right corner and press select, and that will bring us to the next screen, or as a shortcut, just double click the shower I like. So now we're on the maintain shower screen, and this screen is where you're going to do the bulk of all of your work here. This is the busiest screen you're going to use. I prefer in the bottom right corner to have the 3D view as the tab selected. So now I'm looking at a rendering of my shower as I selected it from the template page. You'll see everything is color coded. A is in blue, B is in green, and C is in orange. And the letters for the letters and colors for the two panels we're going to create are A is blue, B is across the bottom in green, and C is orange. You'll see the dimensions we're going to fill in. A is blue, and B is green, and C is orange. There's a color coding that goes on there that we try to maintain continuity. Now, first, before we start entering dimensions for this structure, we're going to review what's at the top of this page to see exactly what's going on there. So, shower configuration, it's telling me that it's an inline shower and that there are two panels in this inline shower. This little door icon here, this gets a little bit more advanced, but what that is for selecting if you may have a transom, a fixed transom over the top of a shower, or an operable transom over the top of the door, or a head gap above the door. But just for this structure, we're just going to make a normal old shower door that has no transom or head gaps. We'll leave it as is. The shower style, we're not using the style selection right now. That is a more advanced feature where you can select standard items that you'd like to have used in your shower structures. We are looking at head support. Right now we have no head support, but if we went to the ceiling or wanted to use a header, we would need to select something here. If we went to the ceiling and wanted to use clamps, we would select clamp. If we wanted to use channel, U-channel at the ceiling, there's either sliding the glass in or doing a lift and drop, depending on the application and the user's preference, as well as header to be used at the top or a support bar. For our shower, we're going to leave it at none. And the glass type, we've got clear selected. There are many different glass types that can be selected here, and you can add your own. For the supplier, we've just got something just called Test Glass Company. Coating type has to do with water repelling coatings that can be used on the inside of the glass. Clear Shield, Diamond Fusion, Enduro Shield, different types of coatings. So that sort of introduces you to the top part of this screen. Now we're going to get to where the action happens, and that is with the panels themselves and with entering dimensions and hardware. So you'll see that panel number 1 here is saying that it's a side panel and it's 3/8 glass using clear glass. There's a 180-degree junction between the two panels of glass. They just join one another in line, as you can see here. And door panel number 2 is a door hinge right, also using 3/8 glass. These two rectangles here are renderings of these panels that have not got sizes yet attributed to them because we've not put any sizes in. So now we'll get right to the entering of the dimensions. It's very intuitive, really. The length for A is strictly going to be the height of your shower structure on the left-hand side. The width is the wall-to-wall dimension that it's asking for, always putting in tight dimensions. And the height on the right-hand side is going to be filled in by the letter C here. So we'll say that we've got a 78-inch tall shower. Now I'm going to type in 78, and I'm going to hit the tab key just to jump right over to the next field rather than to use my mouse and have to follow it field to field to field. When you use the tab key, it just brings you right to the next available field. Now the figure I'm going to enter here, we'll say it's 44 1/4. I say that ahead of time because I want to show you how I do that. I enter 44 spacebar 1/4. Now when I hit the tab key to go to the third cell for the letter C, you'll see a dash appears between the whole number and the fraction. So I've done that there. We'll go ahead and keep it easy and put it 78 for the height over here on the right hand side as well. Now we know that showers are not made with plumb walls all of the time. We understand that. There are out of plumb and out of level conditions on many walls. And Showers Online, of course, compensates for those. So I will go to the out of plumb field on the left-hand side, and we'll say that that vertical wall on the left-hand side is out of plumb by 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to put in a value of 1/4 inch here, and it's going to ask me to define the outage. And I'll go ahead and get to that right now. There's this little button. Everything runs sort of linear. You'll see that 78 is the height that we've got on the left side. 1/4 of an inch is how much it's out, and the computer's asking me, well, which way is that wall out? So I'll hit this drop down, and we'll see there's a very clear, easy to understand drawing that tells us which way the wall is leaning. The plumb line is represented by the dashes, and the solid line represents your wall. So if it gets wider at the top, I would choose this one on the right here. And another shortcut is, instead of having to look at these each time, you can just click the button and it toggles back and forth between one and the other. So we'll now say that wall is wider at the top by 1/4 of an inch. I've got a standard width of 28-inch door glass. This is one of numerous default settings you can set up for yourself. You can put in a default door width. There are many, many default settings you can set to personalize Showers Online to show up with the numbers that you're familiar with and you're most comfortable with. So we've basically found a shower design we like. We've put in the numbers, we've put in the dimensions of what the rough opening is. All that's left to do here is to take this white field right here that has nothing in it, and I consider that to be a shopping cart, and we're going to put hardware in that shopping cart. So we'll go over to the far left here in the fitting category, and we're going to put hinges on here first. So when I select hinge, Showers Online screens out any unnecessary hardware that would not work in this shower. So you will only see listed here hinges that will work with 3/8 glass hinged on the right hand, or hinged off a wall, I should say. And all of these hinges here work with 3/8 glass hinging off the wall. It's a lot of hinges here. Another attribute that Showers Online has is you can put all your favorites up at the top of the list. There's a way to set your preferences and put the hinges you use most at the top of the list. I think what we've done here is we've just put the COL 037 at the top, and everything else runs alphanumeric all the way down, as you can see. So we'll go ahead and put a couple of those COL 037s right on the shower door. I'm going to choose them. It filters out it shows you the hinges, and then it goes to the colors that are available here. And I'll select brush nickel. It's a very common color. Now, one way of adding hardware to the list is to use the arrow and point over here and click it, and it's going to add 2 hinges in brush nickel to the hardware list. I'll show you a shortcut of how most people will add hardware to the list. We're going to use U-channel. No, I'm going to use clamps at the base of this shower. So I'll go to clamps, and I will go to the matching clamp for the Cologne series hinge is a BCU4. Now the way I may want to see that is I can go to something called fitting drawing over here on the right side. It's one of the tabs, and I can see that a BCU4 is a beveled radius cornered clamp, and I know that my Cologne hinge is a beveled radius corner, so that just confirms for me that I know I'm on the right track and getting the right selection here. So I will go to the brush nickel BCU4 for a quantity of 4, and I'll add them to my shopping list. Now for my handle, I'll choose one of my more popular handles, a BM8X8. Now what I'm going to do this time is I'm just going to double click on BM8X8, because once you've selected the color for the first item, the fitting will automatically default to that color for all the subsequent items. So I'll just double click BM8x8, and I know it's going to show up over on my list as brush nickel. So I've got the hardware that I absolutely have to have for this shower, which are the 2 hinges, the 4 clamps, and the handle. For the sake of keeping things the way they really are, why don't we put a sweep on the bottom here, and my P990WS is the most popular bottom sweep. Now you're going to notice that this one here for the quantity says auto, because it's going to automatically figure out how many inches of that sweep I need. And because I haven't yet calculated the shower, it doesn't know how many inches or how many lengths of seal that I may need for the shower. So I'm going to go ahead and hit calculate down here, And now you're going to see things change. This drawing in the bottom right here is going to become a scaled drawing of that structure. And the two panels of glass that we see in the top left here that are just rectangles with no attributes are actually going to be sort of glass preview sizes. I'll show you what I mean. So I hit calculate. We've now got a rendering of our shower here in the bottom right corner. And we've also got a rendering of the two glass sizes that we're going to be made for this. And these are glass sizes that have deductions on them based on the different clearances that are required for the hardware pieces used. Now you'll notice that on the left-hand side, that blue line going up is crooked. Why is that crooked? Well, if you recall, we made the left-hand wall out of plumb by 1/4 of an inch. So that's a good way to visually just inspect something quickly and say, yeah, that wall's out of square. I don't see any other out of squares on these two little squares of glass. And boy, that makes a lot of sense to me. That's a great way to take a look at something like that. I'm going to do something else now to kind of throw this thing off. I'm going to make the door too wide for this hinge, because the purpose of this is to show you what a warning looks like. I'll call this door, say, 37 inches wide. Now when I go to try and recalculate this shower or save the shower, it's going to flag me, and it's going to give me a warning saying door panel hinge right exceeds the maximum of 36.5 allowed by that hinge. Fix this problem and try again. You cannot save this shower because we have gone over width on the door hinge. There are different levels of warnings. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK on this. I can go to the comments and warnings page, and it's telling me the same warning that we just read here. This is called a fatal warning. It will not let you save the shower structure with that fatal warning. I'm going to go ahead and change the door back to a reasonable size of, say, 30 inches. I'm going to do something else as well. I'm going to make the fixed piece of glass that's in line with the door much wider than it is now. So I'll say my overall opening width now is 94.25. Now watch the warning I'm going to get now. I'll save the shower, and it's now telling me that the side panel is wider than the 30-inch maximum width for an unsupported panel using 3/8 glass. But you'll notice here it says, do you still want to save this shower? So we've warned you, we've told you we don't think it's a good idea, but it's not a fatal warning. I can hit yes, I know what I'm doing, I've got a different plan, or whatever my case may be. I'm going to hit OK. Now that shower structure is saved. So now that we've gone on to the maintain shower screen and we've come up with a number of options that we've reviewed here, there are only really just two other screens that really run this program. We're going to review them now. The first one I will review is a maintain shower panel screen. So I can get there two ways. I can either click on the button here that says panels, and that'll bring me to the first panel. Or I'm going to close this and I can go back to the maintain shower screen. I can go to the preview panels up here, and I can double click on one of them and it'll go directly to that panel. So let's get familiarized with this screen. What we're looking at here is the fixed piece of glass on the left hand side. It is color coded again. The left is blue, the bottom is green, etc., etc. If we go to the left hand side of this page, you'll see the different attributes of this panel and what has been deducted based on the hardware or the configuration of the shower. So the left edge is blue, the bottom is green, the right is orange. You see the theme going on here. The left edge, it's using a BCU4 and it's taking a clearance of 3/16. That's a standard clearance for that fitting. Bottom edge, also using a BCU4 and taking the same clearance. Now the right edge has got 0 for a clearance, and the top edge, because it doesn't go to the ceiling or anything else, also has 0. You'll see that the holes are located in the glass in a default location, and the template that would accompany this clamp will match the figures you see shown here. Now there is an out of square condition shown on this piece of glass. You see it's 63 5/8 at the bottom, and it's 63 7/8 at the top, a 1/4 of an inch difference, and you can see that that's shown as being out of square on the left hand side to follow the out of plumb vertical wall. Let's jump over to the door. So I'll go to the next panel. This program works from left to right, so anytime that you select something, it's going to go for the farthest left panel and work its way around to the right. We'll go to the next panel, and that's the door. You can see that the hinge cutouts are sort of generically dimensioned here. There will be a template that accompanies the actual printout. There are numerous ways to print this out. We'll get to that in a moment when we get back to the customer list or the project list. Right now, it's showing that it's a 30-inch wide door by 77 and 9/16. And once again, we go to that left side and we see the different attributes that it's made deductions for. It's got a handle to glass deduction of 3/16, a bottom door deduction using that P990WS that we had recommended earlier. And on the right-hand side, the clearance for that hinge is 1/4 of an inch. No deduction on the top because, again, it doesn't go to the ceiling. So these numbers are interactive. You can change the size of your glass based on changing these numbers. If I wanted only a 1/16 of an inch gap between the two panels, I would simply type in a 1/16 of an inch. This door is going to stay 30 because that's what we told the door width on the previous screen, but the fixed panel of glass would get bigger by 1/8 of an inch. So I'm going to now save my change, and now I've only got a 1/16 of an inch gap between the two panels. You may have also noticed I did something tricky there. Any of the buttons that exist at the bottom of a page can be accessed from any screen by just right-clicking somewhere in a field. And you'll see I can go to the previous panel, I can recalculate, I can close this particular window. It's just another nice shortcut to use. So, in the spirit of that theme, why don't we close this window here and go to basically what's considered to be the last screen of this program. There aren't that many screens to this program. There are really only 4 usable screens. And that is the fittings, the maintain shower fittings screen. So this is a fun one. This is where you move things around. So go ahead and click on that button and you'll see that it's got several attributes going for it here. It's got the 3D drawing up in the top right corner, and it also has a panel size preview in the bottom right corner. On the left-hand side of the page, you've got 2 tabs at the top. You've got hinges and handles. So the hinges are the Cologne 037s and the handles the BM 8x8, and then you'll see the 4 clamps that we've got listed for the BCU4s. This also, if you read it from left to right, it tells you where that particular fitting is located. Now, if I wanted to move a fitting, perhaps there's a grout line or something along those lines in the way, I point at the fitting, I click on it, and now the position of that particular fitting is displayed in the bottom left corner here. You'll see it says door hinge right, the edge is the fitting's on the right edge, it's manually positioned 8 inches from the top. And then all this other stuff here just tells what a mouse ear type cutout looks like. So instead of saying 8 inches from the top, let's say I want it to be 10 inches from the top. I'll type in 10 inches, and when I save it by, once again, right-clicking and hitting save, you'll notice something about that fitting. It turned blue. The fitting will turn blue if it's been moved by a user, manually moved. And as a matter of fact, the clamp above it, to the left of it also turned blue because this clamp's position is dictated by this hinge's position. The clamp follows the hinge to make sure that you've got a symmetry going on. You've got alignment going on. So now these things have both turned blue, so that tells someone who may be checking the glass sizes something's been moved here. Now, that comes in handy when you've got numerous panels with clamps top and bottom, and they're being moved all over the place, and you're not quite sure which ones you've moved and which ones you haven't moved. You can keep track of that by seeing which ones are blue. That's kind of a helpful hint. And even if I were to go back to the original 8-inch dimension and save it, it'll move the fittings back, but they'll stay blue because what they're saying is at some point this fitting was moved. So this is the maintain shower fitting screen. A lot of work can be done here on more complicated structures, but a bit of an introduction for you. I'll close this screen and we'll look at one more screen before going to the project list, and that's this blue little 3D button over on the far right here. Now when I click that, it brings me to a nice shower rendering here that you can do all kinds of things with. You can move this thing around, you can go up, you can go down, you can go inside out. You can make it smaller, you can make it bigger, you can do all kinds of things. I can double click on the door and the door opens and closes by itself. I can set it into motion by hitting this little projector tab up here and just hitting start all, and the door will just sit and open and close until I tell it to stop. A lot of different little things you can do here. Another thing you can do is you can get rid of the dimensions if you don't want the dimensions to show. And a nice thing you can do is you can use this drawing on your quote report. I'll click that box up here. When I create a quote, this is a drawing that the customer would see when they receive the quote that I've sent to them. So I'll close this screen, back to the maintain shower screen. And now we're going to close this one and go back to the opening screen, the project list screen. Save my changes I made in the 3D view and close the screen. So here's our shower structure in the bottom right-hand corner. And now we've got all kinds of little buttons that are active for us. I can view the quote, I can view the glass order, view the hardware, view the installation. I can print multiple reports. I can do a really neat thing called export to DXF. That is when you can actually create a digital file of the glass sizes that would be designed for importing into glass cutting software, into CNC cutting, glass cutting machines. Tempering companies sometimes love it if you send them a DXF. They don't have to then program it. They just take the file you sent to them, put it into their machine, and away they go. It's automated cutting that makes the, it takes a lot of work out of preparing a piece of, or a number of pieces of glass to be cut. You'll see that it shows the glass price here because we've gone in and we've filled out what the cost per square foot is and all that kind of business. If I want to quote out the hardware, I can quote the hardware here. And there are markups you can put on your glass pricing and on your hardware pricing. Numerous options available to you to be able to really effectively use this and create a quote that you can send to your customer. When you open up something like this, it shows you can put your company's address and all that kind of information, name, address, phone number, email on the top right. You can sort of personalize it for your company. You can put your company's logo in the top right corner. The project information can be viewed here. There's the structure that we created. Because we didn't price it out correctly, it's just saying what the glass price is here. And you can add any number of notes that you want to add. There are basically just endless options available to you here to personalize this program and make you and be able to use it in a way that really suits you and your business. Now, I know that we've just gone over the very bare minimum of this program in this short amount of time here. There are so many more layers to this program that we're going to be doing follow-up videos to this kind of thing, and you'll be able to view them at our website. And of course, the best resource I want to tell you is that you've got people in our shower door department who can log into your screen with you in the same way that you're viewing the mouse moving around on this screen here. We can join you on the telephone and we can look at your screen live here at CR Laurence, and we can shadow you and we can show you how to use the program. No one is born knowing how to use this program, and everybody needs a little bit of help from time to time, and that's certainly a resource we can offer to you. So you would call CR Laurence and ask for the shower door department. Anybody and everybody in that department has the ability to log on with you and show you how to use this program. Well, I hope you got a basic understanding of Showers Online by viewing this particular video. I encourage you to use it, see what it can do for you and your business. And as I want to reiterate, please get a hold of us. If you do need any questions answered, we can log in and help you out. Thank you for your time.